Norwegians love ferries.
All this time, I've been holding on so tight, 'cause all that I do was easy to use. So call my time.
Are Norwegians the people that take ferries the most in the world? I'm quite sure that that is the case, but if you know of another country that take ferries more than the Norwegians, please comment below. Today we will talk about why the Norwegians take the ferry so much, and we will also show you some clips from our recent trip from Oslo to Kiel in Germany.
There are many reasons why Norwegians love taking ferries. One of them is for sure shopping.
Yeah, and it's because of the prices in Norway, it's one of the most expensive countries in the world. So Norwegians, they know which prices that are lower in the neighboring countries. So they love going to Denmark and Sweden and Germany to buy some different things, especially alcohol and in the old days tobacco. It's not that much popular now, the tobacco part maybe. And then they know also which kind of meat that is cheaper. So they love going on a ferry trip just to feel that they save some money. In Europe, we are very lucky that we have a lot of countries close to us, or at least we think that that is a good thing. And then we can go to the other countries, so they are quite close. It's a short ferry trip to Sweden for most of us on the east side of Norway. And we are quite close to Denmark, and now the ferry is quite quick also to Denmark, so it's just a few hours and then you are in Denmark.
Taking a ferry to another country is easy and cheap. We can just drive half an hour, take a ferry to Denmark and be in Denmark within 4 hours or something. We can drive easily to Oslo, take our car to the ferry and take a ferry to the Kiel as we did now. So it doesn't require a lot. It's much easier, I think, with the flight as well, because you can pack whatever you need in the car. You are not limited and it's pleasant too.
Yeah, and you are not waiting so much as if you take a plane, and then you have some things you can do on that ferry instead of sitting and waiting a lot. And the cheap part is mostly that you have some good offers outside the main vacations. And you can also be a member of a company, and then you can actually get a lot of free ferry tickets to Sweden at least. And then you can feel that you save even more money if you take that ferry and buy some cheap things.
Yeah.
So it's like you can feel that you are doing something right economically, actually. I also think that Norwegians have it as a culture that you can go on a trip to another country with the ferry. That's just something you do during the year. That a lot of people do that just because they like it. So it's just something you have grown up to do when you are a little kid, and then you do it with your kids. And then if you have nothing to do and you're tired of walking in the forest or painting the house or something, then let's just take a ferry trip. And then everybody's happy because everybody in the family finds something there that they like to do.
Yeah, and I think we are also building that tradition in our home. Our daughter love going to a ferry, and I think it was our 4th trip to Kiel with her, and she's always nagging about taking a ferry during the autumn holidays.
Yeah, we've taken it every year now for 4 years. And when we were in Australia and Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong, then our daughter just wished to get home so she can have a ferry trip. That was her biggest wish. The last reason we think about why Norwegians love ferries so much is that they actually need to take a ferry a lot in Norway. It's an extremely long country. It's as long as from where we sit in Norway and down to Italy. It's very long, and you have a lot of islands and a lot of coast. So there's a lot of small ferries in Norway to just get home if you live on an island. And you have a lot of car ferries, so you can bring your car to work in the mainland and then you go back to the island where you live. And we actually have a plan, and I hope we will do it the next few weeks, to take a ferry around where we live to see all the small islands in the fjords here. So, because we have a lot of small ferries, and it's really nice to see that. So, yeah, stay tuned and maybe you will see a video from there. How does a German, was that? Bratwurst, how does that taste?
It has some like strange spices in it. I don't know what it is, but it's good.
Yeah. Was it
tastes
kind
like
of
meat.
Polish or?
Yeah, it's closer to Polish than Norwegian ones, for
Yeah.
sure.
I grew up in Denmark. When I was a little, we went to Norway to visit family at least one time a year, sometimes 2 times a year. And that ferry was a favorite place for me. I could get some small coins and play the arcade, and I could run around, and I loved taking the elevator as our daughter do now. It felt like some freedom. And then our family had some maybe a little party there, and they were in good mood, so I could get ice cream, I could do whatever. And I loved sleeping in that small place where you have like 4 beds.
Yeah.
And I sleep really well when I sleep on the ferry with the sound and the waves. So I feel that it's like a kind of a big part of my childhood to go on that ferry. That ferry is now gone, and now they have another ferry that is not so slow, so you're not sleeping on it when you get going to Denmark. That was part of the thing before, that people had the grown-ups had a party, the kids were running around, you slept on the ferry, and then you were in Denmark the day after. So now it just takes 5 hours maybe. So it's not the same kind of experience anymore. Then you need to go from Oslo to Kiel or Oslo to Copenhagen, where you can sleep on it also. So you have more of an adventure there, I would say. Yeah.
Of course, when you're on the ferry, you want to eat. So each ferry offers a buffet, and I think we have mixed opinions about that.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions about everything, and also the buffet. And I can first start off when I was a child. It was a breakfast buffet that was part of the travel. And I remember my grandmother and then also my mother always told me that you need to eat things that are expensive. So I couldn't eat bread. That was not allowed. I need to eat eggs, bacon, a lot of bacon and meat and fish and stuff. So they felt that it was worth it, the price, because it was a little bit expensive. Or they felt that they could save some money if they put a lot of healthy stuff into the kid when he was sitting there. So that's a kind of a thing I'm sure a lot of Norwegians and other think. Maybe you have an experience yourself. Please comment below if you have experienced your parents or you do it yourself. Eat expensive stuff in the buffet.
And eat a lot.
Yeah. And the buffet is a mixed experience. It's a lot of things to choose between, and the most irritating is that I have never experienced a good system for the queue. And I'm sure a lot of you guys also have been irritated that where does it start? And I'm polite, so I always try to find the start of the queue. And then I don't want the half of the things, so I'm like standing there for 15 minutes to get to the warm part, the warm meals. I don't want all the cheese and vegetables and whatever. And now in Kiel, it looks like a lot of Germans have found out that they have started a new queue in the middle. So then they have to get in between us, and then it's even more slow. And that destroys a bit of my happiness when I'm hungry, to just never get to what I want.
I think the buffet thing is a problem everywhere, and always when you have even all-inclusive holidays, it's always that queue that it's destroying a little bit of that part.
It should be divided into 2 at least, and then a sign you can start here, and you're polite if you start here, you know, so you don't feel bad that you're suddenly somewhere and then people look at you. Also, so it's a irritating thing. So buffet is very popular, and most Norwegians, I think, they have money for that, because that's part of the ferry trip, is to have a buffet.
I think it's nice, it's helping. We are always looking forward to that dinner time or breakfast time if we are taking that. Personally, I like breakfast better. I think they have better food than for dinner, but there's so many things to choose between also for the kids. Kids are super happy with the desserts as well, and ice cream and all the cakes after the dinner. So that's a good thing.
And I'm sure you guys can agree with me if you look at a man and a woman's plate, and I have filmed my plate. I can actually mix brown gravy, curry gravy, chicken, meat, and some salmon, for example, on my dish.
I had
rice,
the same.
potatoes, fries, and maybe a sausage.
Not possible.
Yeah, but you have at least more green, and it looks nicer. You have a bit more of a system.
I don't have a brown plate, no.
No, yeah, it's brownish. The man's usually you have a lot of meat, and that's it. And then the woman has a bit of a melon and some cute things, especially for breakfast. Then the women are healthy, and the man has to get eggs and bacon and sausages and
You're making me hungry. We mentioned shopping earlier, but just one thing that I've noticed during our very first trip to Kiel. In Kiel, there is a very big shop with clothes for men, women, and kids, Primark. Probably most of you heard about that one. And I noticed that during that trip, most of the people from the ferry walked back to the ferry with extremely big bags full of things from Primark. That I think it's a little bit funny. Of course, I understand it's a cheap garment that people buy it, but it's happening each time we are in Kiel.
But I think also that's very typical Norwegians, that they look around and then where have they been? And then it starts to be a thing that if you go to Kiel, then you need to shop in that shop, and then everybody just do it. And you just told me that look at those people, they are from Norway, look at the bag. And I didn't notice it, but then I started to notice that a lot of people walking around with a big bag.
Yeah, from that shop. But
So I think it's just the rumors go around in Norway. If you're going there, you need to go to that shop because you can save some money.
Yeah, that's kind of, I understand it a little bit as well, because when I'm going to Poland, I also buy a lot of clothes for myself or my daughter. And the reason of that is, of course, prices sometimes, but also bigger choice. So I kind of understand the reason.
Yeah,
here.
but I'm sure they have another shop in Kiel. It looks like they're just running to get it first in the queue and buy as much as possible.
Yeah.
Next video, we have a plan, and most probably we are now, tomorrow from this video is filmed, going to the closest big mountain, as I call it. At least it feels very big because you are on the highest point and can look down everywhere. And that is called Lifjell. Lee Mountain. Well, so we'll see. It's kind of chilly there. It's 10 degrees, and where we live it's around 20, so we actually need to put on some clothes.
Yeah.
But we have talked about it for a long time. We should go there and also show you guys a mountain. So that is at least the plan, and we'll see.
Fingers crossed for the good weather tomorrow.
Yeah, and fingers crossed that we get a lot more comments on this video, because it should be something you can tell about your ferry trips from your life.
Yeah.
And maybe some Norwegians can agree or disagree, or Danish people. And then, yeah, so thank you for following us, and we hope you will put on a like and tick the bell and everything, and then see you soon.